Bonsoir Ines.
Ah, on parle français?
Non, on parle pas français. Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Good evening, and I'm very happy to do this interview with you. I would like first of all to say thank you for this wonderful film we watched in the morning, Becoming Black. My first question is to know why did you choose to do this film?
Yes, there are several answers possible, but I start with the, for me, nearest one. This is that I actually I started to work on a new film, and I thought to work on a film about my grandfather, fatherly grandfather, who lived in Dahomey, which is now Benin, and who was a resistance fighter against the French colonial power, was banned and imprisoned for many years and so on. And I never met him. He died a long time before I was born. And but people from the family told me a lot about him, a lot of stories, legends, whatever. And I thought it could be an interesting way for me to appropriate my own Togolese, Beninish family side. And and I started to work on it, and I noticed that there's something lacking, there's something missing, and I felt strange in this relationship to my family in the way that I couldn't really define my own position in it. And that's why one after another different questions came up, and so I had to confront this, and I decided to postpone it in a way, to say I first have to take care of these questions, which were really like, who am I in general, who am I as a black person, who am I as a person, as a member of this family, and so on. And that's what I did with Becoming Black.
A very nice title, Becoming Black. And my second question is to know if we are born black or do we become black? Why did you choose this philosophical title, Becoming Black?
Are we born black? I hope we are not born black. I think, for me, and also the way how I chose this film, it is that I was aware of this, how do you say this in English? This, how do you say, Zuweisung?
Categorization, I'm not sure if was jetzt nicht.
I start again with this sentence, but you can, it's okay.
Okay.
So I don't think that we are born black. I think we are racialized from society, and we didn't have a choice to then confront it and to see what we are doing with this fact of being racialized. And for me, this title has a double layered meaning, which is first to be addressed as somebody who is black, which is of course coming from the colonial times, and then secondly to appropriate this fact and to find our way in it, to transform it in something which is ours, and which is something that can also strengthen us and encouraging us.
I saw during the film that the film is shot in 2 continents, in Germany and in Africa, in Europe and in Africa. Which challenges did you face to do this?
Oh, many challenges. First of all, my inner challenges were which were the most difficult ones, because I started the film without knowing where I would go, so I had to work through all these different layers in myself, which were also related very much to trauma and so on. And this was the biggest, and also to confront people who I love from my family with this very inconvenient or very uncomfortable themes was also a very big step to do for me. And and if you relate it to, for example, Germany, then it is very much a question of funding. It was, of course, difficult to find funding for a subject like this, because there are very stupid answers you have to deal with, like, for example, a TV channel where the editor was saying, we had already a film about African students, we don't need this, or something like this, or we just had a film about a princess from Ghana who was returning, or stuff like this, you know, and which is, and so this was difficult, and also each time to digest, and but in the end it turned out well. We had a good support from the ZDF, State TV, and Kleines Fernsehspiel. And of course it needs a long time also to believe in this project, and to again apply for funding in another institution and so on, and not to be disappointed or and in other ways, of course it is difficult to bring up a subject like this, which is related to racism in a society which is on many levels still racist. And so it also needs a lot of willpower and confidence to stick to it.
Exactly. And where did you find the strength to do the film?
I think first of all, not because when I was starting the project, I wasn't sure I would make a film. I just thought I have to do it in the way I finally did it, for myself, because there were so many hidden and problems and hurted feelings and so on, that I thought I really have to do it for myself to go on living in a good way and in a healthy way. And I used this format of a documentary, autobiographical documentary film, to be able to solve all this really difficult situations, or difficult, problematic main structure that I'm in at the same time the main protagonist and the director. Used it to be able to do this, and I wasn't thinking about that I would go public with this film. I thought, of course, if I do a film, I have to do this, but I don't want to care about it. I just it's too much for me to think while I'm still writing and trying to confront all these feelings and to meet my family with all these difficult questions. I just wasn't able to think about it, so it came much later. And how I found the strength, I think, because I felt, when I first started, I felt how much it relieves me, and how good it is for me, and then step by step it was just in reality, you know. I just brought it to life, and then it was there, and then you have to take care. So it wasn't really a question of being strong, and it was also that I was taking a long time to develop this film, because I promised myself I will do this work, but I don't want to do it when I'm very totally exhausted and sick after all this. So I promised myself to take care of myself and to take all the time I need, and to to really take also longer times to digest, and to also to have breaks, and to let myself supported by friends, by I don't know, being in good situations and so on. And it's always, now people are saying it took a lot of courage and so on. I cannot really say this, because I just did which was good for me and felt the right thing to do. And I think I'm the one who is profiting the most of this film.
Okay. So the film raises many taboos, family secret. How did people in the film, for example, your father, receive this project?
Of course, for him it was also very difficult, because he had to confront with this, how do you say this, adultery, and because my mom was already married with him when she met my biological father. And so it was also difficult for him, but when he did it in a way that it was like giving me making a strong gesture of love, I could say. And I can only assume that this was his motivation to do it. And but I know it was very difficult, and it is still difficult, because he of course also feels judged by I don't know, publications and so on.
And your brother?
What
How
about my
did you
brother?
receive the project?
He found it interesting that I do this, and he was also astonished that my stepfather Armin would agree to it. And but I think he also thinks it's a good thing to do, or was a good thing to do.
Yes. And now we will speak about Togo. How was it for the first time when you went in Togo? How did you feel?
When I went there?
Yes. Your first experience in Togo. The first time.
Yeah, I mean, I went there to meet my father, or to look for the family, and as you can see in the film, it was very unclear what to expect there. So I really had to prepare myself, and I maybe over-prepared myself in a way that I thought everything is possible. It's possible that my father Lucien is dead, or that he doesn't want me, or the family doesn't want me, and so on. So all this would be a possibility, but fortunately it was like a very kitschy American movie, that it was just very beautiful, very welcoming, very warm, and without any conflict.
Did you feel as at home, finally?
No, I wouldn't say this. I'm still with my whole path, which I took. I'm just who I am. You know, a person who had made certain experiences in different cultures, and mainly in the GDR at this time, and all this path and this search made it that I had to find my home somewhere else, which is not a question of geographics. It's something I would say I find more and more inside myself. And I'm also not looking at searching it in a certain place. I feel very well when I'm in Togo, when I'm in Benin. It's not the question, but I also feel well in Berlin. It's more, and this is only possible because I'm a lot of things healed inside myself.
Okay. In the film, there is a ritual, a ceremony. What is it about?
I mean, rituals in general are very common in this society, in Togo and in Benin, and it's also, I mean, my family, there are a lot of people who studied in Europe and who are Christians and so on, but it's no contradiction to still also practice this old traditional rituals and having this connection to it and giving it a space in their lives. And these, in general, rituals are regularly upheld. Is it right? I don't know. And so this specific one was to on a certain level to bring back or to connect the spirits of my ancestors, of my father, also with this place, because it's the family temple, which is in Agoué, which is a little village between Togo and Benin, on the Benin side. This place where this ritual is made is a family temple, which is actually the center of this whole practice of celebrating the connection to the ancestors. And there are these pictures of people who passed away already from the family, and there is one person, my very beloved auntie Asyaba, who is responsible for all. She's a priestess, which is responsible for all these rituals. And in this case, my father Lucien passed away in Europe, in Germany, in Cologne, and we brought his body to Togo, and he, as a person who passed away in Europe, in Germany, they say that it needed to be made a certain ritual. I don't want to go in details, but to reconnect him, and one part of this is also to bring his image, this photograph, to this one house, which is also part of the temple.
How did you feel during this ceremony? How did you feel?
I was just feeling on the right place. It felt nice. I mean, I was surrounded by my other auntie, Tanti Pepe, who's a very beautiful person, lovely person, and my other auntie is doing it, so how can you do a better ritual, you know, and also to do something I knew my father would have wished for. It's also nice, and so it was just, I think, the right thing to do. And I used this situation. I knew I one day I have to do this, and I hadn't done it until this moment. So I thought it's a good thing to bring this together with the film and to just do it.
Okay. The film reveals your other names like Akwavi, Akwasi. What is your relationship with these names?
My father, it's a funny story actually. My father, I think it's mentioned, it's mentioned also in the film, because my father actually gave me the name Akoswavi, which is also in his birth certificate he made for me in Togo. And this name Akoswavi means actually born in the Johnson family on Sunday. But I'm not born on Sunday, I'm born on Wednesday. And so that's why I'm actually Ekwawi. But his younger sister is my auntie Ekwa, and she was a very strong character, a bit stubborn, and but a very beautiful person also. But he didn't want me to have the same problems she had. And so that's why he just decided to call me Akoswavi, like Sunday. And so I on a certain moment I found out that I'm not Akoswavi, and I was checking this calendars and saw, I'm born on Wednesday, so I'm Ekwavi, and I told him about this, and he told me why. And then I decided I still have to include this, but it was not really, I wasn't really thinking about it because I didn't know the meaning of it, like if I could do this or not, like just change the name like this. But I still had the feeling I have to include this other name too, Ekwavi. So it became on another level part of my everyday, practice or whatever you want to call it. And now when I had this meeting with this cousin in the film who was explaining to me what it means to have a certain name, and that you actually traditionally are not really allowed to just change it, and that it is more like in Western behavior to do this, as my father was living for so long in the West. I also had to laugh because it's quite typical for my father, and I liked it, all this,
So do you feel yourself as the reincarnation of your auntie?
Oh my God, this is a burden. I don't know. I just accept how it is presented to me, and I find this interesting, and it's worth to consider it. But I don't want to be so strict in like, now I'm the reincarnation from Tanti Ekwa. So I just accept the way how they explained it to me, and maybe there's sometimes something happening in life where I think, interesting, so maybe it is like this or something like this, it's more more playful.
Okay. I really like the way you narrate how you finally meet physically your father. Yes, Lucien. So how was it? Because you said you call him, you said you are Ines, and you say which Ines? You say Ines Sigrid, and you say no, which Ines Sigrid? And you say Ines Sigrid Leipzig, DDR. So all the times that you bring us in the film to narrate this part of the encounter, I was like, okay, and how was it when they finally met physically? How was it?
You would have liked to be in the corner, no?
Yes.
I was already in contact with him when I first went to Togo, and then this was this totally strange thing that they told me he's not in Togo, he's in Germany, in Mülheim an der Ruhr, and this was like trickster or strange, and then I was contacted by my aunt Jacqueline, who is also in the film. And I was then living in her house, being invited in her house, and And then he called very regularly, like, I don't know, every second day, and was asking me, how are you, have you eaten, and have you seen Uncle so-and-so, and Auntie so-and-so, and this cousin you have to meet, and so on. And so I somehow already developed on one level a little bit of like a relationship with him. And I thought he even though I still was very méfiante, comment on dit? I had a mistrust.
Yeah.
Which was just so deep inside myself. Also, how I was raised in East Germany, I thought, and also to protect myself, that I thought everything is possible. So, and I still couldn't believe that it's that easy, that he would just accept me like this. So I was very carefully listening to everything he would say on the phone. But had a quite good feeling, and when I then met him, and it also took some time, because when I then came back to Togo, I needed some time to arrive and also to digest all this, what was happening in Togo, and we were still continuing to talk on the phone. And then one day he said, so then when finally do we see each other? And I thought, yeah, you're right. Slowly it's time. And I thought, I come to you to Mülheim. And yeah, that's what I did. Went there. And it was actually very easy, very beautiful, the most easy you can imagine. Like he was standing in front of his house. He had this traditional bubu on. And I came there, and he was just opening his arms and saying, what did he say? He was first watching me, like and then nothing special, just taking me in his arms, and it was beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, but about the film, aesthetically, you choose not to do it chronologically. Why?
Because I never really believe in these simple answers, like everything is like it appears to be. I don't believe in this. And my experience is that things are so much more complex then we try to make it. I mean, it's also contradictory, because on one hand, things are also very simple, but the way how we try to develop narrations is too often too one-dimensional, and that's why I'm not interested in this, to repeat this. So for me, I want to emphasize this. This parallelity, this non-linearity of things, and so on. And this is something that's really strong in my heart. And so it was a very early decision to not do it chronologically. And my life didn't feel like it. My life is a proof that this is not true. Because even though when I was in a little child in East Germany, and my parents told me, my mother and my stepfather, that they are my biological parents, already I was another person on another continent without knowing. So. And I don't want to be reduced on something. And so I thought it's just appropriate to stick to it, to not tell the things in this simple way, which the first and the last and all this. Don't believe it. I don't believe in it.
Okay. And I also listened during the projection a note of music, especially when we are going in the past. Can you tell us more about this music?
Oh yeah, this is from wonderful composer and musician who's a friend of mine. His name is Jean-Paul Bourrelli. Jean-Paul is a great musician, a jazz musician, but with a lot of influences from different cultures, and of course also from the continent. And he worked with many famous musicians like Miles Davis and other big names. And I knew he could really feel into this story, not only because he was also in Benin, but he's living a strong connection in his music and also as a person to this to the continent.
Okay. At the end of the film, you say to my fathers and to my mothers. To whom did you speak about? Especially?
Thank you for asking this. It's very rare that people are really asking this. It's first of all also because I have two fathers, and also to make sure also to my stepfather who was very important for my bringing up, that he is my father no matter what is happening in all this story. And but on another hand, it's also because I'm so aware that there were so many people in my life supporting me on so many different levels that I didn't went mad, and that I somehow survived all this in a quite healthy way. And it was to honor all these people, and it includes so many people. Like also, for example, I was in childcare for the first 3 years, and I know that there was one person who was especially taking care of me, and it was, for example, also to honor this woman. And there were people like I don't know, even my osteopath who accompanies me since 15 years is meant with this. And it's also just to break up this limited notion of father and mother or parenting and so on, because also this is for me something which is needed to see in a much broader way. And for me this includes even the ancestry level. Like also people who are not alive anymore, and I still have a connection to, and it's also I don't know. For example, my the woman with whom I was studying for a short time, I was this guest student of an artist. Her name is Katharina Sieverding, and her thinking influenced me a lot, and all this is included in this mothers and fathers.
Okay. So, after becoming black, what's next? That is the last question.
What's next? We'll see. I'm working on new stuff. I'm working on another documentary film, you could say, even though I think it might be a little bit more open format. But yes, I'm working on something, and I'm very happy that very soon I have the chance to go to Los Angeles for 3 months to work on this in this program of Villa Aurora. And I'm very happy that I can leave, at least for now, the work on family themes behind me, because I need a long break from this. And so this will not be an autobiographical film.
Okay, we are looking forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.